Here we go. Today's a fun one. So I've talked a lot in these videos on things you should do that can help you get better. But more important than any of that stuff is the things that can actually harm your career because those will be louder. Everything you do that will harm your career will be louder than the things you do right. So for every 3, 4, 5 things you do correctly, it just takes one thing to erase all that. And some of these things could erase it all permanently, right? And the permanent stuff we don't really need to get into. I mean, that's pretty obvious, right? You did something really seriously, effed up. But often than not, you're not failing because your music sucks, right? And where I'm gonna go with that is if you're getting signed, let's just forget at the highest level. But if you're getting signed by solid, reputable labels, and your music is getting supported by the DJs that are bigger than you. It doesn't necessarily need to be the biggest artist in the world, but your music's getting supported by people that are very, very respected in this industry, and you're getting booked by some of the more notable promoters or the best promoters. That should at least be enough validation to say, hey, my music doesn't suck. Maybe you're not the greatest, but my stuff doesn't suck. And I have enough talent going on to get the ball rolling, right? And hopefully you get better over time. But the things that harm those people, the people that actually have some or talent or an insane amount of talent, is their attitude or their ego, right? And today we're going to break that down. We're going to talk about I'm going to tell stories about moments where this has harmed people, stories from my career, people I've worked with, things that I've witnessed, stuff like that. And before I want to kind of go into ego. Ego is very important. It's important to have ego. What you all are trying to achieve is a little bit of stardom, is a little bit of fame, and obviously talent's important, but you do need ego. You need ego and confidence to believe in yourself, to believe that I have more talent or more whatever star power or whatever terminology you want to use. I have more than the rest of the people around me, right? And it's okay and good to have some ego, right? Or a lot of ego, as long as it's used correctly, right? What's not great is to have ego and truly just think you're better than everybody else, and you essentially are mean, demeaning, or your attitude is a constant attitude that you're better than everybody else. Like you can have great ego and talent and the skill set and the confidence to back it up without being mean, nasty, or rude to your peers or even the people that might be below you, right? And I'm gonna tell you right now, this stuff, the ego, the attitude, offline and in person or online on social media, is the things that ruin careers. And if you're too good to support others, if you think you're too hot to play small gigs, if you're passive aggressive on social media, if you're refusing feedback or collaboration, if you're being overlooked and you're too focused on your image than your social skills or your music talents, then you're gonna have some problems, right? And before we go deeper, I'm gonna say, like, for whatever reason, the biggest DJs that are touring the most frequently, I'm gonna say 95% of them or more are actually really freaking cool, humble, chill people. This attitude problem and this ego and this big-headedness, this really comes like when locals and like slightly touring talent, in my experience, right? So it's when a local has their little moment or they're breaking through local and starting to tour a little bit more outside their city. This is like the most common time, and I would say it's like in this range of, and don't quote me, there's no black and white science to this, but somewhere in this range of $500 to like 3 or 4,000 is where the worst ego moments happen, and it happens to most. Some do a really good job at overcoming and letting that moment go and kind of rehumbling themselves, and some of them it ultimately destroys, right? And as a promoter, as a manager, as a booker, I've been in all these roles. Very quickly, we're gonna blacklist these type of attitudes, and we do it quietly. Like I'm never gonna tell you like I'm not booking you because of your attitude. Like I don't need an argument or a drama, right? I'm just gonna stop booking you. right? And this goes with everybody else. They're just gonna stop working with you. They're not gonna tell you why, but they're definitely gonna tell everybody else why. And every enemy you create, every person you piss off is a negative promoter, right? And your fans are what I like to call positive promoters. These are people that are gonna tell all their friends about your music, tell all their friends about your show, and having thousands or millions of these mouths talking about you is going to help you grow your career to people that haven't heard about you. And on the other side of that coin are going to be people that you've done wrong over the years. You've maybe screwed them over. You've treated them like crap. Like whatever that scenario is, these are going to be people that are going to be what I call negative promoters. They're going to run their mouth about you, and they're probably going to be do more harm to you than the people that are trying to help you, right? And so you always want to avoid this. And in reality, like it's so easy to just be a normal, cool human. Like there's zero reason to have an attitude, to act like you're better than anybody, or to treat people like crap. Um, unless someone obviously really brings it on. But even at that, it's just like one of those things like two wrongs don't make a right. If someone treats you like shit, just move on and be a better person. Let me flip through some notes and so we can go on with this. But look, also comparing yourself obsessively to other people is also a way where you're going to start to develop a poor attitude. Like looking at why people have stuff that you don't have is never going to help you. Focus on your goals, focus on your relationships, focus on your skills, your talent, and just getting better at all those things. And you're going to get exactly what you want instead of thinking you deserve more. Because remember, nobody actually owes you anything. Like the faster you actually realize nobody owes you anything, is the faster you're going to go and put in the work, and all that anything you think you deserve is going to naturally come your way. And don't focus on cloud, and don't burn bridges along the way and all that stuff. And then I kind of want to jump into social media for a minute because I think like I always try to use my social media in the most positive way ever. Maybe a little bit of humor here and there, or like I poke fun at the scene, but I definitely don't use it as a platform to call out people, venues, or promoters or agents or any of that stuff. If I have a problem with any of these people, these types of people, or these venues or anything, I if anything, I just call them up and try to flush it out with words, right? Like just talk it out and get through those issues and go forward. And I'm gonna give an example without calling people out, but but it was at heart. We were in the very early days. We were just booking the things we can get, and our homie DJs and the people that were with us at the smaller venues, right? The bigger DJs that were with us at the smaller venues. But once I moved to a room that big, the goal is it was a huge room, and we needed to get bigger and bigger talent over time. And one of the first few bigger bookings we got was like something very left field and stuff I booked, but it was just a legit cool name. Music was unbelievable, and it was one of those names by just putting them finally on a flyer and in our room. It really was a name that helped us legitimize the venue, right? And I wanted to make sure this artist would return. He's a very picky artist. He would only come and do venues and shows around the world that he specifically like enjoyed, Didn't He wasn't one of these artists that was trying to do nonstop shows. It did selective shows, and whatever we did at that time was enough to get his attention, right? So I wanted to make sure the show went smoothly. So I picked a very specific opener that we didn't put on a lot, but I used him for very, very specific types of headliners and specific types of genres, right? And so I write them, we book them, show's done. I'm like, we're gonna announce in like 2 or 3 weeks. I'll keep you posted. He's like, cool. And then within that window, before we announced, we announced another artist that was a little bit more, to me, so cool as fuck. But if you're on the very purest spectrum, you think everything outside of that is commercial. He thought this was commercial, and he decided it was his place to make a big social media post naming that artist, naming our venue, Hard Nightclub, and literally everybody within the local scene sent it to me. And I had an obligation to the other partners of the venue to rectify it, right? So I addressed it with him first. He went in defensive mode and just said it's his job to not keep his mouth shut, and he's not going to apologize or delete it and da 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 da. Which in reality, you can have your opinions about whatever you want. You don't need to go out of your way to slander things you don't like because maybe you're more of a purist than somebody else, right? So obviously we took him off the lineup and we moved on, put somebody else on, and actually I gave an opportunity to somebody else that had never gotten a big opportunity for a big DJ. That opener played a phenomenal set that night and became an extreme regular within the venue. It's just a perfect example of social media backfiring. Like realistically, focus on positive. Your fans are gonna prefer positive. The only people that are gonna engage with you in the negative stuff about other artists or venues or with negative things in the scene are going to just be other bitter artists or industry people that will really offer you nothing else to help your career. Stay positive, focus on your music, focus on your talent, and you will garner the fans, the labels, and the promoters to support that, right? And by the way, all this stuff travels fast. Like if somebody gets burned in the industry, they're gonna let all their homies within the industry know, like, hey, I got burned by XYZ, FYI. So it's like some people say we go out of their way to like blacklist somebody. It's not even an intentional thing, right? Like you want to let your peers know, like, hey, this person owes me money. Don't work with them. This person screwed me on this deal. Don't work with them. It's not like we're trying to blackball you. It's like we're trying to save our friends from getting in the same situation we got in. And then in general, actually, there is something really important I want to add. Don't forget to treat this, especially on a local level, but even on a non-local level, don't forget to treat, if you're a promoter, a local DJ, you're working with venues, don't just think you need to impress the owners or the bookers or the management, right? Don't forget that like there's staff there from security guards, doormen, bartenders, barbacks, bussers, cleaners, bathroom attendants, like you name it. Like, there's no reason to walk in and give these people attitude. They're just there to do their job, and they don't deserve it. They're literally doing whatever their bosses have told them to do, and if you don't agree with it, they're literally just doing with the thing that they were told to do to make sure they keep their job, and you need to remember that. And on the flip side of that coin, by being nice to every single one of those people, and I forgot to mention like the light tech or the sound engineer, and I'm sure there's some other roles I forgot, but literally everybody. If you make an effort to go to these venues, especially if you're a promoter or a local DJ and you want a residency, if you make an effort to go to these venues, be nice to them, say hi to them, have conversation, treat them like humans, because they are, and they're normal people and they're cool. They will have your back for everything you need. So when you need someone to get in the venue, those door people and security guards are going to help you. If you need a fast drink, those bartenders are going to, and bussers and waitresses are going to help you get it fast because they like you. The light tech and the sound engineer, I mean, they're going to be an essential role to the show going well. Like you need the sound to sound great. You need the lights to be on point, and having those people really like you and support you and want to go out of your way to make sure you have great nights is key. And it's been one of the big factors to my longevity, right? And in reality, I don't care how big you think you are above these people. It only kind of matters in this world. And outside of this world, outside of these venues, outside of the industry people, most of us, including myself, are like insignificant, right? We're only semi-popular in this industry. And you only have that moment and you won't be that position probably forever. So just remember, treat everybody cool. They'll all have your back. You'll have more success. You'll have more longevity. And if you're working with me and I find out you treat staff like crap, I don't care how many people show up to the club with you, you will not be performing for me or working with me in any capacity. So stay cool, stay curious, stay grateful. Remember, and also I'm going to flip that for you future promoters and talent buyers. If you're working with agencies and management, do the same thing with their team, like their admins, their assistants, their junior roles, like whatever they are. 3, 5, 10 years from now, A lot of those people, a lot of those assistants of the agents I worked with 10 years ago are top tier agents right now with some of the best talent. And if you treated them good back then, they're going to remember that. And if you didn't, they're going to remember that. And that goes for every role. Like the bartender, the doorman, the little small promoter that has a party with 10 people at it. You never know where they're going to be at 3, 5 years from now. They're going to 100% remember if you treated them good or bad, and your future business might be reliant on how you treated them when they were a nobody. Because a lot of those nobodies will become somebody, and this goes for your DJ peers around you. Like, you never know which one of them is gonna blow up, and they might take some people along on that ride with them. So how you treat the people around you might have a big effect on your career in the future when you don't even realize it. So, I think that's a good place to end it. Like, treat everybody great, be cool, don't act like you're better than everybody else. Obviously, have the ego and the confidence you need when you're doing the work you need to do, which is performing or making music or obviously your social stuff, but keep it all positive. And yeah, treat everybody great, man. Like, it's a man or woman or anybody, like, no offense there. But just treat everybody great. It's so easy to be nice. There's no reason for it. And I can promise you, if everybody likes and supports you because you're cool and you do great work, you will have a long future in this business. So I think that's a good place to end it. I hope it helps you all. For those of you who disagree with me, comment. I always reply to everything. I try to, at least so far I have. And I'll see you all in the next video. Subscribe, like, comment, all that stuff. Help us grow. Share it with your friends. And that's it.